MTN Mega Billion promo is finally here from Monday to Saturday at 7 p.m. Plenty Nigerians will stand a chance to win big. To join, just dial star 900 hash on your MTN line. Then every recharge from 100 naira or more will get you more entries and increase your chances to win. This promo lasts till the 24th of September.
Recharge today and win millions. T's and C's apply. Visit www.mtn.ng for more details.
Have you been a victim of corruption? Do you want to report how corruption affects you and your community? Send an SMS or WhatsApp message to 0703 175 6537.
Top of the morning to you. Time check is 29 minutes to 8 this morning, Thursday, 18th September 2025. And you're tuned into the Press 917, the voice of women, Nigeria's first and only radio station for women and their families. Welcome, 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 everybody, to the show. My name is Fumi Bangbala. Good morning, Tom.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, thank you. How are you this morning?
It's a good morning. It's a good morning. Good morning. It's a good morning for some of us. It's a bad morning for those who lost their lives. But hey, in all situations, we've got to still show gratitude. But yes, it's a good morning. I'm grateful that I'm alive. It's the sun is out, and it's a good morning.
Yes, it is a good morning. Our analyst is here as well. Good morning, Sumba.
Good morning, Fumi. Good morning, Tom. I do agree with Tom that it's a beautiful morning. Looks like it's going to be a clear one after the rains. So, that's a beautiful relief. Although I did enjoy the rains, but like Tom said, I found myself praying that this rain that has been raining, it's a blessing, let it not cause disaster for some people at their ends and all of that. So, yeah. We get going.
Yes. And before we even get ahead, like Tone said, we want to commiserate and with the people who lost their lives in the fire outbreak, in Lagos mainland. You see the Afri building. It was such a sad one. I initially saw it and I was like, Afriland Tower, yes. And I was so confused, like, what's going on? Because what I first saw was they said people were jumping down. So initially I thought maybe it was a case of suicide until I started reading more and realized that, oh wow, it is a really, really unfortunate situation. There was also a fire outbreak at the Mandalas building in Lagos Island. I'm not sure what's going on, with this fire outbreak, but we do share our condolences with the families because people left their houses in the morning to go to work. We all pray for protection, but really, this is so unfortunate. People left their houses, maybe said goodbye, see you later to their spouses, to their children, and then the next thing you're hearing is there's been a fire outbreak. I mean, I don't think there has to be fire and water. I'm not a fan of it at all because the pain, like, it's almost like, okay, is the body recognizable, all those kinds of things. So we really, really do extend our condolences to the families of those who've lost their lives in the fire outbreak. It's unfortunate, but we hope that this won't happen again. And we also hope that this is this sounds an alarm, to our government, to the fire emergency services, that we need to up our game when it comes to things like this. Also for organizations to make sure that their companies, the buildings are fire what's the word?
Compliant,
fireproof,
and
And it's so sad, but yeah, we hope that their souls rest in peace. That's what we pray for them. All right, let's get into the headlines this morning. We have quite a few headlines this morning. One that was recurring is which we're also going to tackle this morning is jubilation in Rivers, as the president has restored the governor. But let's just get into it. Punch newspaper: Lagos market massacre, death toll rises to 6 after police shooting. We also have 7 victims confirmed killed in Lagos building fire.
In this day, jubilation in Rivers as Tinubu ends emergency rule, restores Fubara, deputy house members. We also have Dapman Dangote clash. Marketers demand retraction of products, diversion claim.
In the Guardian newspaper, we also have wild jubilation in River State over reinstatement of Fubara by Tinubu. Federal government reintroduces history as compulsory subject in primary and secondary schools.
And in the Daily Trust, insecurity, Tinubu isn't providing right leadership, says Atiku. FIRS officials killed in Afriland Towers fire outbreak.
In the Vanguard newspaper, we have federal government pays out 330 billion naira cash transfers to poor Nigerians, says Edwin. 2027 El Rufai right on first shift. Obi remains rallying point, says obedient leader.
It would be good to know how the 330 billion naira is being disbursed.
Yes,
the criteria, and it would be good to know. Is a good thing to do. Is a good initiative, you know. But it would be good to know how it's been disbursed. What are the criteria? The records of the people. It would be good to know. Anyway, in the Tribune, it says federal government introduces Chinese language into school curriculum. I wonder why Chinese language. Okay. And not Swahili. Tinubu suspends emergency rule in Rivers.
In the Premium Times newspaper, we have Ondo governorship. Supreme Court affirms Ayedatiwa's victory as PDP withdraws appeal. World Championships, Ezekiel Nathaniel makes history as the first Nigerian in 400-meter hurdles final since 1987.
In the Nation of today, APC slams Atiku and says you are a false alarmist, out to instigate anarchy. And also in the Nation, Tinubu's 2027 re-election bid secured. Jigawa APC stakeholders affirm.
In the cable newspaper, we have Wike commends Tinubu for ending emergency rule in River State, reinstating Fubara. We also have court restrains Lupeng from going on strike, disrupting Dangote refineries operations.
And in the pen pushing, police arrest suspected most wanted armed robbers who specializes in attacking churches in Delta State. 8 stolen children rescued from orphanage in Delta State.
In the Daily Post, we have Rivers. Tinubu must apologize for suspending Fubara, says the PDP. Unfair to celebrate revenue target without paying pensioners. Peter Obi knocks Tinubu. Those are the headlines in the newspapers, making the rounds in newspapers this morning. You want to do well to get you a copy, like I would typically say, or most importantly, stick around as we delve into the topics for this morning. I do not see Sumbo any longer. Maybe network error. Okay.
She'll join us. She'll join us. She'll join.
Yes.
I'm sure she'll join us there.
Yes. So we'll go into the headlines, which is the in the Vanguard newspaper we have. I'm trying to scroll. I was reading this.
Okay.
Okay. Excitement as Tinubu restores Fubara deputy legislators. Tinubu says it therefore gives me great pleasure to declare that the emergency in River State of Nigeria shall end with effect from midnight today. The governor, His Excellency Siminalayi Fubara, the Deputy Governor, Her Excellency Ngozi Odu, and members of the Rivers State House of Assembly and the Speaker, Martins Amewule, will resume work in their offices from 18th September 2025. With this 61-word statement, President Bola Tinubu yesterday terminated emergency rule and restored democratic governance in River State 6 months after his March 18 suspension of democratic structures. The declaration elicited optimism and mixed reactions in the polity. This was as the People's Democratic Party, PDP, cautioned returning Governor Fubara against leaving its fold, while the All Progressives Congress, APC, wooed him with a top offer. Meanwhile, there was drama at River State Government House yesterday morning as aides of the departing sole administrator, Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas, retired, protested alleged unpaid allowances as Ibas prepared to jet to Abuja to meet with President Tinubu. So I think that our government really needs to figure out, unpaid allowances, unpaid pensions. Like, we're hearing so much of it, and it's so disheartening to people who are actually working, like you rightly said yesterday. Ibas media advisor, Mr. Hector, downplayed the protest, saying he was unaware of videos of the protest, adding that the atmosphere at the government house was calm. At press time, the deputy governor had returned to Port Harcourt, and the polity was calm as residents awaited the arrival of Fubara and return of Ibas from Abuja for the handover. Fubara had traveled out of the country after his suspension and reportedly returned to Nigeria on Monday, but is yet to come to River State. President Tinubu, however, said that from intelligence available to him, there is groundswell of a new spirit of understanding, a robust readiness, and potent enthusiasm on the part of all the stakeholders in River State for an immediate return to democratic governance. I think to understand this, we have to go back to the beginning as to why, the president had suspended the governor earlier on in March. He had said that the State House of Assembly was crisis reading because the members of the House were divided into two groups. Some were for the former governor, that's Nyesom Wike, and some were for the incumbent governor, which is Steam Fubara, and it was causing a lot of back and forth in the House of Assembly, and which made the president say, you know what, I need to intervene in this, thus suspending the governor. There were a lot of suits against the emergency rule, of course, mixed reactions. The president says he was not unaware that this was happening, right? But it was something that he felt he needed to do to be able to bring about, peace in River State. If you're familiar with the political terrain, we know that Port Harcourt, River State is very, very important in politics in Nigeria. So he felt the need to be able to do so. Sumbo, glad to see you. You're back.
Apologies for the glitch. That's what happens in our client.
Yes. What are your thoughts to this? Because all the newspapers making the rounds this morning has been a top news article talking about excitement as he's restored, as Fubara is restored, to governor, to his rightful position. But what even caught me was that it wasn't even only him who was suspended. His vice was suspended. Members of the State House were also suspended. So I can only imagine why a lot of people were upset as to this. But what are your thoughts on this, Sumbo?
For me personally, I think that was a drama that was not necessary. First and foremost, you want to query or interrogate the cause of the fracas in River State as at that time. And you also want to query, the involvement of the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, that's Nyesom Wike himself. You would expect that this is a man, who already had his own portfolio. Attention should have been paid, to his assignment. Why was it that meddlesome in the issues of the, of the state? I think that he went, beyond his limits. It wasn't his call. And I believe that he actually was the persona who instigated whatever went on in Rivers State. I mean, the facts are there for everyone to see. And what was most worrisome was the fact that in the midst of all of that, the president or the presidency did not think that there was anything, they should do to Nyesom Wike. Rather than that, they focused attention on the governor and got him removed. And everybody has said unconstitutionally. And of course, one of the things that were also referenced at the time was that, look, if you're talking about a state of emergency and the things that, give way to that situation or to that gives you a right to call in a state of emergency, at that particular point in time, there were other states in Nigeria that had a far worse scenario than what played out in Rivers State. So for me, it was overstretching the powers of the executive, and it spells, a negative for our democracy. Now, we've gone through all of that, narrative and all, and everybody knows what that was all about. But let's come to the present. Now the governor has been formally restored to his position. For me, I feel really bad for Nigeria. And again, I wonder at the quality of men and also women, I must mention, even though there are a few, that we have produced in this country and that we have put in the position of governance. Because what you have done is to have, you have a kind of emasculated the man. Okay, I personally feel a huge sense of shame for him. What you have done is to have dealt with him like a recalcitrant child, a little boy. And then when it's pleased your majesty, you say, okay, you can go back. I ask myself, if I were in that position, how do I face my people? Because what you have clipped his wings, and that was the agenda ab initio. So what kind of authority does that man have? Not just over the legislature, his own state of assembly going forward, but over, his state generally. It cannot perform optimally, because that would also always be at the back of his mind. It's going to be, doing everything with caution. So the bite has been taken out of him. It's like walking and having to look behind your shoulders. Now, that brings me to my third point, is the fact that we seem to not have integrity in this country, and we don't have what is called dignity. We need to begin to go back and dig these things up. I personally would not go back. Because the question is, and that again interrogates the motive, the reason why people go into politics in this country. It's all about, my selfish needs and my selfish desires, what I can gain out of that office, and it could be anything and everything. But if you have a sense of dignity, you've been so shamed, you've been so ridiculed in front of the whole nation, and then you go back like, the dog that's been giving back his bone, and what are you going to do there? So if people truly come in with the motive and the desire to serve, and they won't be able to hold up their own. I don't understand. It is in Nigeria that you tell us that you are begging to serve. If I truly have something to offer, let me round off this particular point with a personal experience. I was engaged in a bank as the head of, mortgages and estates and all of that. And the position demanded that if the bank bought any property, leased any property, anything that had to do with that. I needed to give approval for, for monies to be paid. So we got this particular property on Old Ojo Road in those days, around, towards Badagry, to use as a branch for, banking hall and all of that. And for some reason, I couldn't go visit and inspect until the day my head of banking was going to present the check. And I got there and I saw the property. In 2 minutes, I said, let's go. Let's go back with our check. We can't take this property. He tried to ask me why. And I told him, look, this is nothing. This is just ground. Whatever structure is here is nothing. There was crack all the way from top to bottom. You could see the sky from it. And then I took off my shoes and I put my feet on the floor. I told him to do the same. I said, this damp that you feel is a foundational issue. I left. We came back. Unknown to me, he had gone to the GM, told him, and the GM had instructed him to go back and pay the check. And when I heard that, I went to my desk and I began to put up a report. My chairman heard of it because his nephew was the, admin person and saw me and called me and said, there's no structure there. You can't put anything on it. You try to, the thing will scatter. Do you understand? And I had put up my resignation because you cannot employ me for a job and you will not tell me how to do it. It's my profession. You don't know that. That's why you employed me, know? And so he asked me, he said, I don't understand what you're saying. Demonstrate it with a diagram. Unfortunately for them, I just sat for my professional exams and had the best result in Nigeria. I just took my pen and began. I didn't get halfway. The chairman just turned to the GM and said, okay, go and get me my check. I was ready to leave the job. If you own your own onions, nobody is going to push you up and down. It doesn't matter who the person is. And so this man, as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't have any. How do I'm sorry, we're on live radio, but we've come to a point where we need to say it as it is. I don't have any respect for him.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Sumbo. I actually was going to ask you about trust because it's like a parent. That's the only analogy I can give. A parent who literally washes the firstborn, insults them, shames them. Like you rightly said, no back. That firstborn won't be able to, react or discipline the younger ones. We have a call. Yeah.
All right. Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, Fume. Good morning, Tom. Good morning, Madam Boki, I believe.
Sumbo. Good morning.
Okay, Madam Sumbo. Thank you very much for being energetic this morning. You just woke something in me.
What's your name, please? Is this Prince?
Mr. Prince on the line.
Mr. Prince. Yes. It's been a while. How are you? Hope you're well.
Very well. I decided to keep away for a while. But I'll be following.
Okay.
But this morning, something just arose in my heart. And I posted that 3 days ago. And I asked a question on X. I said, is Fubara returning to stab the people with his heart? That is, if he's going to return. Or he wants to come and get what he needs to get and get out. Because he's coming as a shadow that no man knows his heart anymore. He's coming as a man. If I thought he's going to come. But I'm waiting to see a man that will disappoint millions of people who will think he's a failure. Because for me, for now, I see him as a failure if he goes back to that seat. I see him as a stupid if he goes back to that seat. I'm waiting to see a man that will tell them open to their face that I don't want this seat. I'm going to recontest. And if he do that, that man will win the election come next time. If he can surrender to them and say, I don't want this seat now, give it to whoever he wants, continue also administration. When whatever comes, or you can hand it over to the Speaker of the House of Assembly. When the next election comes, that man will win the heart of Nigerians. And millions are waiting. We are praying that that man disappoint them today, that he will not take that seat back from them. Because if he does, he is not only going to take what he has lost, he's going to get his own money, and he will sit as a baby boy in that house. That's it. And lastly from me is the insecurity in Nigeria currently. Mrs. Sumbo, Do you know the amount of food coming from the north? The amount of food that is coming from the north that cannot get to Lagos right now. All the harvests are very fresh. Everything, onions are fresh, everything. But can you see that you cannot move carrots, ordinary carrots and onions from the north, especially natural here. Even before you get to Kogi, is gone. Why? Because of bad road. A journey that ought to be a day is taking them 4 days on the road. You will be on the road when you get to Kogi side. After Kogi to Obajana, you will see where trailers are lined up, throwing away onions and carrots, all those food, because they cannot get to this side, and food are expensive. What of yam from my own side in Kogi State? This is what the insecurity is becoming so dangerous that even in my own place, they kill some people, and the whatever security advisor to the governor wanted to politicize it. And I thank God for the youth that came up and said, no, we're not paid for this. And the man shut up. How will the government, how can we make the government come up with the issue and make it a priority? Have a nice day.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Prince. Sumba, do you want to respond?
You know, my people have a saying that you do not wake up, you can only wake up a man who is sleeping. You cannot wake up a man who is pretending to be sleeping. The Nigerian ruling class, if I say they are a bunch of wicked people, I'll be putting it mildly. Sorry, on this radio, if you are going to continue to have me, I'm going to call a spade a spade. Now, we have a ruling class that is either deaf of hearing or they have made up their minds. They are not interested, and you can just be rejoining. You can just be talking. They don't hear, because where there's a will, I've been told that there is often a way. Is the government really willing?
Sumba, we'll just interrupt you and take another call. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Oh, okay. Okay, please feel free to call us back. 07000 917 Sumba, please continue.
Yeah, if we're truly willing, if we're truly moved and touched to the heart about the things that are going on in this country security-wise, we would have made a way. But what do we see? You know, what do we see in this country? We see people that don't seem to care. It's a daily death that we see going on. And I tell people that if we consider the number of deaths that we record every day in this country, Nigerian flag should be flying at half-mast on a permanent, on a permanent mode. But we don't care. So here comes what this gentleman has just brought out. It's not that we are not producing the food, at least the much that we can produce, because this insecurity just starts from even the planting. Farmers cannot go to their farms. That's one loss there. And then the few who are able to, you cannot get them to the market where they will be sold. And so you have wastage. Because the people at the end of affairs are not affected by these things. A number of them, maybe they even import food into this country to eat all the a la carte and not a la dogs, whatever. Do you know? So
sorry, we have a call. So sorry to cut you. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. What's your name?
In the absence of the rule of law.
Please, what's your name? Hello.
Now, there's a saying that in the absence of the rule of law, impunity will be the order of the day. Now, you can see what that transpired in Rivers State, whereas more or less like the rug was swept under the rug of Fubara, and they now state of emergency wrongfully in Rivers State, a peaceful state, and they now impose a sole administrator. And now, because they want to impose APC structure in River State. And that's why we have an illegal sole administrator, an illegal election, an illegal, manipulation of the old system. And now they have put Fubara back, more or less like a puppet government.
Hello. Can you hold on a second, please? Engineering, can you take this call off Women Radio? Engineering, take this call off. Fumi, please get engineering to take him off. Yeah, that's Dayo. So Michael and Hillary and everybody, if that is Dayo, he's been banned from talking on this radio station. Even if he has something positive to say, he has been banned from talking on this radio station. So when you hear his voice, please do not allow him to talk until he apologizes to Nigerians. We will take another call. Please, what's your name and where are you calling from? What's your name, sir? Oma? Hello? Okay. Fumi, can you hear?
No, it's breaking.
All right. So engineering, if you can't hear very well, just help us take the call off, and so that we can have a smooth conversations. The numbers to call 07000 917 917 09155 917 917. Good morning. What's your name, sir?
Hello, good morning.
What's your name, sir?
God bless you. This is Evangelist calling from.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Guide by your rules and continue with your rules. And if my comment is not civil, cut me off. We are here to unite Nigeria. On Fubara case, this is my own opinion. Fubara was employed by VK. He has been working with VK. How many years did he work with VK? He's not coming from a neutral ground. VK bought everything for him. Is it now you want to bow out? And that's not all. See, we should not waste our time on these politicians. They're almost the same, working for their own pocket. Now we're saying APC. When PDP was, you know the same thing. If one of them want to do, one of their children want to do wedding today, sure all of them will gather. Some of us that are supporters will be killing ourselves, fighting ourselves. I don't really know how we are in this country. Some of them is coming free to serve. They're coming to work for their own pocket. So we should not waste our time on this one weekend or all these other things. I'm looking forward to the day Nigeria will be a president. That will change the scenario. Yes, no, Bola Tinubu, I campaign and voted for him. He said infrastructure. Many of the roads, they are busy building. Yes, it's good to this coastal road. But most of the roads they are using is bad. Why can't they maintain that one first before building another coastal road? Why can't they invest in our road? Like Dangote and I said yesterday, one can protest 1,000 trucks. Fine. Why can't you send them on? Let me work on Nigeria rail. Do you mean that if a rail is working, food will be still free conduct? So you can remove the road that advanced, that old. In those days, from north you can enter rail. You carry good, they will not charge you. Now a talk is coming because of our corruption. Police, you are not that people will stand on the way. Unless these people, the money they will pay from north to this way is the mother. So that makes the goods be high. Why can't
Okay. It looks like network issues there. Am I right for me?
Yes, it looks like the
Okay.
call.
Sumbo, would you like to say anything, please? 3 minutes after 8 on Women Radio 91.7 is the newspaper review. Sumbo, would you like to say anything before we move on to the next story? Thank you.
Well, it's a question of, systems in Nigeria that we need to work on. And I don't know how we're going to do it. Tonyo and I are always on a call together. This thing about behavioral change is extremely important. And I keep saying, I'm not sure I have faith in this generation, but maybe perhaps the next, maybe if we begin to tackle it from the very, very, roots, like I say to people from kindergarten, and begin to instill some values again into the young ones. Maybe at some point in time, we would have, an injection of new blood into Nigeria. I pray.
Thank you. We have calls coming in. We'll take calls. Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
This MC from Alagbado.
Thank you. How are you? How is Alagbado this morning?
is very, very fine. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's have your comment.
You know,
Thank you.
I don't have much to say other than to commend your guest, Mrs. Sumbo. In fact, I've always loved her commentary. She's very bold. She's very straightforward. As a matter of fact, people of her type, you can never do anything against her because she says it the way it is. She doesn't care who source is God. She should keep it up. Someday, Nigeria will notice her usefulness. That is just what I call you for.
Thank you very much. We're also very proud and privileged to have Sumbo with us. Before we take another call, Sumbo, I have a few comments here. This says, morning to you in the studio. Good morning to you too, sir. As Rivers State administration is winding down, the man has restored peace in the state. And since the man has come on board, the oil production of the state has increased and he has restored democracy to local government. And I hope both the governor and state legislature has learned their lesson. And also kudos to Mr. President and his economic team. The Naira is appreciating now and the price of foodstuff is coming down little by little. Hope this situation will continue. That's Adeshina Wasiu from Ikorodu. Our barrister Ugo Osoje from Festac says, good morning to you too, sir. Good morning. Eternal rest grant unto the deceased at Afriland building fire incident, and may God Almighty console their lives. Amen. Thank you. It says, jubilation in Rivers as Tinubu ends emergency rule, reinstate the governor, Fubara deputy, and the House of Assembly members. Could this scenario be tagged jubilation? That's what he said. When the Nigerian Constitution, 1999 as amended, had been wrapped, maybe he meant raped, given its derogation that couldn't allow lower court and Supreme Court to have head matters brought before them by PDP governors for adjudication with regards to Rivers emergency rule. He also spoke about Big Brother treatment on a recalcitrant character, and were the National Assembly senators on vacation to be in the know, or will the Gazette be sent to them for a voice vote as usual? That is basically Barrister Ugo Osoji, and he's saying that may Allah save our republic. Amen. Okay, Fumi also has a message, and then Fumi, let's take this call first, please. Okay. Yeah. Hello, good morning. What's your name, please? Hello, good morning. Okay, Fumi, you can take your message.
All right, this one says, good morning, Nigerians. Mrs. Sumbo. Okay. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. What's your name?
I'm allowed to complete my comment. It's still evangelist. In the network, am I allowed to complete my comment? I want to
yes,
go. I don't want to get for rules. I think I'm allowed. Thank you. God bless you. What I was saying before I was cut off was that this branches of the team, I think some government have handled it. If some state government have handled it. Look at how much some are before. See how much that is being given to these people. Now it's almost straight. Yes, you should bring the federal, but what are the state government? Why can't states hold their state government accountable? What are they using all this money? I believe some of them are watching this band and God is watching them. Couldn't not say so on daily basis. You don't even have the fear of God. I also want last government, they invested much on them, which I know myself. Why can't this government continue so that our food can come from north through rail? Suppose those are good and those who are disturbing so that food can come down. We know the right thing to do, we not do it. And we are coming. Let all of us only do the right thing. If all do the right thing, that means Nigeria will say, we come on board. I've enjoyed this nation before. I say enjoy this nation. Okay. But if we refuse, one day, we got nothing, we are taking nothing. And I'll go back to God. Think of this. Thank you. God bless you all.
Thank you so much, Evangelist Dixon, for calling back to complete your thought. This one is to you, Sumbo. It says, good morning, Nigerians. Mrs. Sumbo, do you know that the basket of Irish potatoes that was sold for 15K in January to June is now 5K, etc. The issue of bad roads and loss of life, poor political policies. Please, can you, the media house, tell me how myself and other Nigerians can apply for the government. That's what this comment saying. Didn't put his name there.
We have another call. Hello, good morning.
This is Oboli on the line. Good morning, ladies. Good morning,
How
Madam.
are you?
Good morning,
How are
Madam.
you?
How
are you? Great to have you. Great to have you.
This time I'm calling. I don't know what's wrong with the network today. Hello?
Calls have been coming in, is why. So you're muted.
We can hear you. Just go ahead. We can hear you, madam. Yeah, go ahead.
The thing just cut. Maybe it's the network. Okay. I don't know. Can I still comment on Fubara's issue?
Please go ahead and comment. Yes, you can. Yes.
All right. First off, Madam Tom, I want to say thank you so much for the story you narrated this morning. This is why I clamor, without being gender biased, this is why I clamor for women in power. Look at what she said this morning about putting her feet down. My question really now is, if Fubara is coming back, Prince is coming back today, so he's coming back under what party? Is it PDP or is it APC? Because I don't want to call him a puppet on a string, but basically that is what is going to play out at the end of the day. Looking at it now, what party exactly is he representing? Integrity, trust, everything is just based on zero. See, if I were the one, I would just opt out and wait for a particular time I can come in to give that which I want to give. Somebody like Madam Sumba would never take this offer of coming back after being beaten down and, put to the ground. I just ask myself what is coming back to do. But maybe in the forthcoming days, we'll all know what is coming back to do. Having said that, I want to talk about this sad incident that happened at the market. This can be forestalled. Only that in Nigeria, we are always reactive rather than being proactive on issues. I saw the video of people jumping down like it's a James Bond movie. People have died for crying out loud. Can we just forestall this issue so that it doesn't happen next time? I don't understand how we wait till things happen before we start running helter-skelter when we ought to have put structures and proper reforms in place. Thank you very much this morning. Have a wonderful day, ladies. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Thank you. Thank you. Sumbo, we need to give you about 2-3 minutes to talk now, and we will pause all calls. Thank you, Sumbo.
It's okay. I think I want to respond to what the lady said about the fire outbreak. I want to believe. I think for me, when we talk about fire outbreaks in Nigeria, properties collapsing and all of that, I want to take us back to the roots. There are building standards on paper in this country as it should be. Are we building according to pattern? Are we, complying with those standards? So you want to ask yourself, the moment you don't comply with building standards, you have already knocked off prevention of either fire or collapse. So first and foremost, if I'm going to comment on this, we first and foremost want to look at that building itself. What provision was made for prevention, first and foremost of fire, and then secondly, escape routes. The people who are who work in that building, at what point in time have they taken them through a fire drill? And all of that. There are alarms that will ring the moment you feel the slightest, feel of smoke and all. When all these things are missing, then it becomes the kind of chaotic situation that was found, that we saw, was it yesterday or 2 days ago? When I saw that video, it just reminded me of 9/11 and how people were jumping down to their death. That shouldn't happen, okay? Yes, the fire brigade, I understand, moved in swiftly and all of that, but the question is, what kind of equipment did they have? Because I don't think that fire was big enough, to have caused the havoc that it caused. Now, when we look at all of that and we put that aside, we want to also look at the situation in this country with energy, with power. In any average home, you have PHCN supplying light, you have solar, inverter, generator, and all whatnot. Even switching from one to the other could constitute a problem. About 3 days ago, we didn't have light for a long time, so we put on the generator. And the next thing, my globes began to burn. Then my children said, Mommy, it must be the generator. I said, when the generator start burning globes and all of that? Well, eventually we put it on. By the time I called in my generator servicing person, you know what he told me? He said there was something called the AVR that had malfunctioned, and rather than bringing in 220 volts into the house, he brought in 320. Now, if my TV and all of those gadgets were on, they would have been blown. Now, these are issues that we get into that are not needful. What is anybody in 2025 doing with generator in the house? So these are the kind of things, because I understand it came from an inverter, something in the business. Let Nigeria go back to the path of integrity. Calling out professional organizations. Let us begin to be watchdogs for our members, for our people. Do it as it ought to be. The planning department, you collect money, you give approval for nothing. All of these things will be a question of the chicken coming home to roost. It's only a matter of time. So those are the issues that I would like to highlight. But again, like you say, you have said, my condolences go, to the families of the deceased. And I must commend Tony Elumelu, who, cut short his trip to come back. That shows the heart of a leader. That is very, very commendable. And may the Lord grant their souls sweet repose.
Thank you very much. It's 16 minutes after 8. It is a sad day, actually. Yes, we have to be grateful in all situations, but it is a sad day. These are things that could be averted, as you said. Well, 16 minutes after 8, the newspaper review on Your Women Radio on the Full Breakfast. A couple of more messages. Top of the morning to you. On insecurity in Nigeria, let me say kudos to Imo State government and the Nigerian military for arresting the notorious criminal, popularly called General Gento, who killed many people, and collecting ransom for the Northern Elder, who continued to pamper the criminal in their territory and refused to give the military information to get rid of this guy. If this trend continues, this country will just be like Gaza and Afghanistan, where criminals are in control of some of the country. My advice to Northern elders, they should unite against insecurity now before it's too late. Thank you, Additional, from Wasiu from Ikorodu. Some wanted to know how to apply for the 3 trillion giveaways to households. They want to know how to apply. We don't know how to apply as well. We don't know. We just read that the government is giving the money cash transfer, But we will Google and we will check. We will contact the necessary ministry and find out. Otsumbo, do you know how to access that?
Well, first and foremost, your name should be on the register of vulnerable people. So how they gathered that information together, Nigeria has no idea. Well, I don't have an idea. So everything is shrouded in secrecy. It's Nigeria for you. Please do the needful media and find out how you can access it. But
actually, for me, I think we should. Yeah, we should. Yeah. So for me, do you want me to take the second story, please?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Okay, Sumba, we still have Sumba with us, and we're very excited to have you. Our the audience has responded to the fact that the way you analyze, and we're very happy to have you. So, federal government reintroduces history as compulsory subject in primary and secondary schools, and this is in the Guardian. It said that they are doing this in basic education curriculum to strengthen national identity, unity, patriotism, and responsible citizenship. So for the first time in decades, I remembered when history was taken off the curriculum, a lot of there were people complaining, I included complained. So for primary 1 to 6, Pupils will now learn about Nigeria's origin, heroes, rulers, culture, politics, economy, religion, colonial rule, and post-independent governance. And that's from primary 1 to 6. From JSS 1 to 3, students will study civilizations, empires, trade, European contacts, amalgamation, independence, democracy, and civic values. And according to the Ministry of Education, they said this reform is a priceless gift to the nation. Priceless gift to the nation, reconnecting children with their roots while inspiring pride, unity, and commitment to national development. Apparently, the curriculum is also going to be revised, and they will retrain teachers, provide resources, and strengthen monitoring. Sumbo, I don't have any comment. Let's have the comments from you.
The way you talk about it, priceless gift.
I don't have priceless gift. I don't have any comment. Over to you, Sumbo.
When I heard you repeating priceless gift, I was like,
you know, Nigeria is a country where you do Thanksgiving lying prostrate, you know, to people, to people who give you what was yours in the first place. Okay. And my analogy for that is somebody comes into my father's house, my father's estate, worth 100 billion. He confiscates it, takes it away, and then he gives me 50 million, and I'm so grateful, and I'm lying prostrate before him. That is the tragedy of Nigeria, but let's put that aside. Let's face the issue. Okay, so it's a welcome development, you know, but it is one that is coming, you know, quite late. But as they say, better late than never. I keep saying that I'm more or less, I've lost faith in the generation that is now. I'm more interested in the coming generation, if they can get it right. First and foremost, why did we feel the need to take away history from the schools? We need to interrogate that. My understanding is that, you know, some people were offended. Some people felt that, you know, when we tell the Nigerian story, we tell it with bias. Depending on one side of the fence, we sit on and all of that. But I tell people, you don't throw away the baby with the water, right? So, but that damage was done. Now we are coming back to it. It's you see, there's a generation that has been lost, which for me is the sad thing. I have children in their 20s. My children never knew who Nnamdi Azikiwe was, never knew who Awolowo was, never knew anything about Tafawa Balewa. I had to begin to tell them stories about these great personalities. Okay? Now, in a situation where public schools have been bastardized, everybody kind of send their children to private schools. Even the list of the persons, you know, in the realm of the Nigerian state, even if it is to pay 10,000, you find people struggling to send their children to private schools. Now, the kind of private schools that you and I would, you know, send our children or would have sent our children had a curriculum that was not vetted. And all they were about was status, you know, efficacy, as we call it. And I remember my daughter being in primary school in one of the top-notch, you know, schools in Lagos. And they were doing, I think it was in the Nigeria Day, you know, and usually they would give each class something to do. So we got to this particular class and they were singing God Save the Queen. Trust me now, I flipped. I said, in my country, under my watch, in what year? It's not going to happen here. These were children who didn't know a jack about the country from which they come. I said, after how many years you colonized my great-grandfathers, colonized my father, you now want to, it's not going to happen. You know, so I fought that battle. And, you know, my children, when I did my birthday, one of the things my daughter said was that I was always coming to fight in school. I said I will fight. So that generation has been lost. I was able to take my children through a couple of things, the much that I know. My daughter went for post-JAMB in Unilag. And before the exam, they had given them a list of past question papers, to go through. And then suddenly, she saw in that question paper a question. It was government and, a question. And, there are multiple questions, answered questions. And one of the answers, choices of the answers had her grandfather's name, my dad's name. The guy just ticked our grandfather's name. The excitement.
I'm so sorry, we've run out of time.
Look, but it's a welcome development. Let's do it right.
Thank you. Over to you, Olufumi J.
Oh dear.
Wow, what a story. I think I would have been in that same position as well, but we've run out of time. It's always a delight and a pleasure to have you come to the show. Today we had you I think
always
you
pleasure.
You stirred up quite a few things in the hearts of the Nigerians, is why they kept on calling and interrupting your train of thought. But we hope to see you again. We've come to the end of the show. Good morning, Nigeria. My name is Fumi Bangala.
Have a wonderful day, all. Good morning, Nigeria.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Yes, bye.
Don't worry.